Supermax is the name used to describe controlled unit prisons, or units within prisons, which represent the most secure levels of custody in the prison systems of certain countries. The objective is to provide long-term, segregated housing for inmates classified as the highest security risks in the prison system, the worst of the worst criminals, and those who pose a threat to national and international security. Characteristics. According to the National Institute of Corrections, an agency of the United States government, a supermax is a stand-alone unit, a part of another facility, and is designated for violent or disruptive inmates. It typically involves up to 23-hour per day, single-cell confinement for an indefinite period of time. Inmates in supermax housing have minimal contact with staff and other inmates, a definition confirmed by a majority of prison wardens. Lena Cookie and Norval Morris have argued there is no absolute definition of a supermax, and that different jurisdictions classify prisons as supermax inconsistently. They identify four general features that tend to characterize supermax prisons. Long-term. Once transferred to a supermax prison, people tend to stay there for several years or indefinitely. Powerful administration. Supermax administrators and correctional officers have ample authority to punish and manage inmates, without outside review of prisoner grievance systems. Solitary confinement. Supermax prisons rely heavily on intensive solitary confinement, which is used to isolate and punish prisoners as well as to protect them from themselves and each other. Communication with outsiders is minimal. No activities, few opportunities are provided for recreation, education, substance abuse programs, or other activities generally considered healthy and rehabilitative at other prisons. In supermax, prisoners are generally allowed out of the cells for only 1 hour a day. Often they are kept in solitary confinement. They receive their meals through ports in the doors of the cells. When supermax inmates are allowed to exercise, this may take place in a small, enclosed area where the prisoner will exercise alone. Prisoners are under constant surveillance, usually with closed-circuit television cameras. Cell doors are usually opaque, while the cells may be windowless. Conditions are plain, with poured concrete or metal furniture common. Cell walls, and sometimes plumbing, may be soundproofed to prevent communication between the inmates. History. The United States Penitentiary Alcatraz Island, opened in 1934, has been considered a prototype and early standard for a supermax prison. An early form of supermax-style prison unit appeared in Australia in 1975, when Kattingal was built inside the Long Bay Correctional Centre in Sydney. Dubbed the Electronic Zoo by inmates, Kattingal was a super-maximum security prison block with 40 prison cells having electronically operated doors, surveillance cameras, and no windows. It was closed down 2 years later over human rights concerns. Since then, some maximum security prisons have gone to full lockdown as well, while others have been built and dedicated to the supermax standard. Supermax prisons began to proliferate within the United States after 1984. Prior to 1984, only one prison in the U.S. met supermax standards, the Federal Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois. By 1999, the United States contained at least 57 supermax facilities, spread across 30 to 34 states. The push for this type of prison came after two correctional officers at Marion, Merle Klutz and Robert Hoffman, were stabbed to death in two separate incidents by inmates Thomas Silverstein and Clayton Fountain. This prompted Norman Carlson, director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, to call for a new type of prison to isolate uncontrollable inmates. In Carlson's view, such a prison was the only way to deal with inmates who show absolutely no concern for human life. The Federal Bureau of Prisons solitary confinement units are known as special housing units. In recent years, a number of U.S. states have downgraded the Supermax prisons, as has been done with Wallens Ridge State Prison, a former Supermax prison in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Other Supermax prisons that have gained notoriety for the harsh conditions and attendant litigation by inmates and advocates of the former Boscobel, now named the Wisconsin Secure Program Facility, Red Onion State Prison, TAMS, and the Ohio State Penitentiary. Placement policies at the Ohio facility were the subject of a U.S. Supreme Court case in 2005 where the court decided that there had to be some, but only very limited, due process involved in Supermax placement. There is only one Supermax prison in the United States federal system, ADX Florence in Florence, Colorado. It houses several inmates who have a history of violent behavior in other prisons, with the goal of moving them from solitary confinement for 23 hours a day to a less restrictive prison within 3 years. However, it is best known for housing several inmates who have been deemed either too dangerous, too high profile, or too great a national security risk for even a maximum security prison. Residents include Theodore Kaczynski, a domestic terrorist otherwise known as the Unabomber, who once attacked via mail bombs; Robert Hansen, an American FBI agent turned Soviet spy; Terry Nichols, an accomplice to the Oklahoma City bombing; Richard Reed, known as the Shoe Bomber, who was jailed for life for attempting to detonate explosive materials in his shoes while on board an aircraft; Umar Farouk Abdu Muthalab, the underwear bomber; Richard Lee McNair, a persistent prison escapee; Charles Harrelson, a hitman who was convicted in 1979 of killing federal judge John H. Wood Jr., and Vito Rizzuto, boss of the Sixth Mafia family, released on October 5, 2012. The maximum security facility in Colorado is the only federal Supermax in the United States. It is reserved for federal crimes. The Boston Marathon bomber was housed there. Deprivation of social contact and the isolation of inmates has some unintended positive and negative effects. Inmates are safer being in isolation, and prisons create more jobs for the local communities. Supermax prisons, however, are extremely expensive to run and can cost about 3 times the national average for a maximum security facility. However, many states now have created Supermax prisons, either as standalone facilities or as secure units within lower security prisons. State Supermax prisons include Pelican Bay in California and TAMS in Illinois. The USP in Marion, Illinois was recently downgraded to a medium security facility. Some facilities such as California State Prison, Corcoran, are hybrids incorporating a Supermax partition, housing high-security prisoners such as Charles Manson. In September 2001, the Australian state of New South Wales opened a facility in the Goulburn Correctional Centre to the Supermax standard. While its condition is an improvement over that of Kattingal of the 1970s, this new facility is nonetheless designed on the same principle of sensory deprivation. It has been set up for AA prisoners who are deemed a risk to public safety and the instruments of government and civil order, or believed to be beyond rehabilitation. Corrections Victoria in the state of Victoria also operates the Acacia and Maluka units at Barwon Prison, which serve to hold the prisoners, requiring the highest security in that state, including Melbourne gangland figures such as Tony Moke Bell and Carl Carl Williams, who was murdered in the Acacia unit in 2010. Controversy. Supermax and security housing unit prisons are controversial. Some claim that the living conditions in such facilities violate the United States Constitution, specifically the Eighth Amendment's prescription against cruel and unusual punishments. In 1996, a United Nations team assigned to investigate torture described SHU conditions as inhuman and degrading. A 2011 New York Bar Association comprehensive study suggested that Supermax prisons constitute torture under international law, and cruel and unusual punishment under the U.S. Constitution. Quote, in 2012, a federal class action suit against the Federal Bureau of Prisons and officials who run ADX Florence SHU alleged chronic abuse, failure to properly diagnose and neglect of prisoners who are seriously mentally ill. Prisons with Supermax facilities. North America, United States. Most of these facilities only contain Supermax wings or sections, with other parts of the facility under lesser security measures. Alabama Holman Correctional Facility, Atmore, Alabama. Arizona ASPCA Min, SMUI, Florence, Arizona. ASPCA Min, Browning Unit, Florence, Arizona. United States Penitentiary, Tucson, Arizona. Arkansas Varna Supermax, Lincoln County, Arkansas, California. United States Penitentiary, Atwater, California. Pelican Bay State Prison, Crescent City, California. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, San Francisco, California. California Correctional Institution, Tehachapi, California. High Desert State Prison, Susanville, California. Colorado State Penitentiary, Cannon City, Colorado. U.S. Penitentiary, Administrative Maximum Facility, Florence, Colorado. Connecticut Northern Correctional Institution, Somers, P. Connecticut. Florida United States Penitentiary, Coleman, Florida. Florida State Prison, Rayford, Florida. Georgia United States Penitentiary, Atlanta, Georgia. Idaho Maximum Security Institution, Boise, Idaho. Illinois United States Penitentiary, Marion, Illinois. Tams Correctional Center, Tams, Illinois. Indiana Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, SHU, Carlisle, Indiana. United States Penitentiary, Deotte, Indiana. Westville Correctional Facility, WCU, Westville, Indiana. Kansas. United States Disciplinary Barracks, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. United States Penitentiary, Leavenworth, Kansas. El Dorado Correctional Facility, El Dorado, Kansas. Kentucky State Penitentiary, Eddyville, Kentucky. Louisiana State Penitentiary, West Feliciana Parish, Louisiana. United States Penitentiary, Pollock, Maine State Prison, Warren, Maine. Maryland Correctional Adjustment Center, Baltimore, Maryland. North Branch Correctional Institution, Cumberland, Maryland. Massachusetts. Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center, Lancaster, Massachusetts. Massachusetts Correctional Institution, Cedar Junction, Walpole, Massachusetts. Minnesota Correctional Facility, Oak Park Heights, Minnesota. Mississippi State Penitentiary, Sunflower County, Mississippi. Missouri Jefferson City Correctional Center, Jefferson City, Missouri. New Hampshire State Prison, Men, Concord, New Hampshire. New Jersey State Prison, Trenton, New Jersey. East Jersey State Prison, Woodbridge, New Jersey. Northern State Prison, Newark, New Jersey. Essex County Correctional Facility, Newark, New Jersey. New Mexico Penitentiary of New Mexico, unincorporated Santa Fe County, New Mexico, uses the Bureau Classification System, Level 6 being Supermax. New York Attica Correctional Facility, Attica, New York. Upstate Correctional Facility, Malone, New York. Sing Sing Correctional Facility, Ossining, New York. Southport Correctional Facility, Pine City, New York. North Carolina. Polk Correctional Institution, Butner, North Carolina. Ohio State Penitentiary, Youngstown, Ohio. Oklahoma State Penitentiary, McAlester, Oklahoma. Oregon State Penitentiary, Salem, Oregon. Pennsylvania United States Penitentiary, Allenwood, Pennsylvania. United States Penitentiary, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. State Correctional Institution, Green, Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. South Carolina Kirkland Maximum Security Institution, Columbia, South Carolina. Tennessee Riverbend Maximum Security Institution, Nashville, Tennessee. Texas United States Penitentiary, Jefferson County, Texas. Estelle High Security Unit, WJ Estelle Unit, Walker County, Texas. Allen B. Polunsky Unit, West Livingston, Texas. Utah State Prison, Draper, Utah. Virginia Wallens Ridge State Prison, Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Red Onion State Prison, Wise County, Virginia. Washington State Penitentiary, West Virginia. Mount Olive Correctional Complex, Fayette County, West Virginia. Wisconsin Secure Program Facility, Boscobel, Wisconsin. Canada Millhaven Institution houses non-Canadian citizens being held by security certificates. Special Handling Unit houses Canada's most dangerous and violent inmates. Mexico Penal del Altiplano, Almoloya de Juarez, State of Mexico. Full Supermax and the only facility of this kind in Mexico. South America. Brazil. In Brazil, the Regime Disciplinar Diferenciado, known by the acronym RDD, and strongly based on the Supermax standard, was created primarily to handle inmates who are considered capable of continuing to run their crime syndicate or to order criminal actions from within the prison system, when confined in normal maximum security prisons that allow contact with other inmates. Since its inception, the following prisons were prepared for the housing of RDD inmates: Centro de Readaptação Provisoria de Presidente Bernardes, inspired by the Supermax standards. Although prisoners can only stay there for a maximum of 2 years, is a part of the prison system of the Brazilian state of São Paulo. Penitenciaria Federal de Catanduvas, also based on the Supermax standards. It is the first federal prison in Brazil, designed to receive prisoners deemed too dangerous to be kept in the state's prison systems. Penitenciaria Federal de Campo Grande, the second of 2 Brazilian federal prisons based on the Supermax specifications. Colombia Penitenciaria de Combita follows Supermax specifications, hosts terrorists and drug lords. Establecimiento Penitenciario de Alta y Mediana Seguridad, Giron EPAMSGIRON. Europe Portlish Prison, one of the most secure prisons in Europe, protected full-time by members of the Irish Defence Forces, held many convicted Arab prisoners. NIEUW Varsiveld, Dutch High Security Prison in Voet, Stamheim Prison, German High Security Prison, partly purpose-built to keep Red Army faction terrorists in the 1970s and 1980s. Politigardens Fahrenzel. There are 25 maximum security cells located in the prison of the Central Police Station of Copenhagen. The State Prison of East Jutland High Security Prison holds many of Denmark's most dangerous criminals. Penal Colony 6 Federal Penitentiary Service, Sol-Ilaysk, Russia. Correctional Facility in Sol-Ilaysk, Orenburg Oblast, Russia. Kumla Prison, Sweden, has a security unit called Phoenix, which holds many of Sweden's most dangerous criminals. Asanara Prison, Sardinia, often described as the Italian Alcatraz for its very low succeeded evasion rate, housed criminals with mafia-related charges, such as Totorina, in a restrictive detention condition known as Article 41 bis prison regime. Italy's notorious bandits, such as Graziano Messina and Matteo Bo, and many criminals connected to terrorist organizations, the most known being Brigid Ross. United Kingdom, Her Majesty's Prison Belmarsh, London, England, United Kingdom. Many of the terrorists of the 2006 transatlantic aircraft plot are imprisoned there. Her Majesty's Prison Franklin, Durham, England, United Kingdom. High security prison with a special unit for prisoners suffering from dangerous and severe personality disorders. Her Majesty's Prison Full Sutton, York, England, United Kingdom. High security prison. Her Majesty's Prison Long Lartin, Worcestershire, England, United Kingdom. High security prison. Her Majesty's Prison Maghaberry, Lisburn, Northern Ireland, United Kingdom. High security prison. Her Majesty's Prison Manchester, Strangeways, Manchester, England, United Kingdom. High security prison with a special unit for prisoners suffering from dangerous and severe personality disorders. Her Majesty's Prison Shotts, Scotland. High security prison holds some of the UK's most dangerous and violent criminals. Her Majesty's Prison Whitemoor, March, Cambridgeshire, England, United Kingdom, houses up to 500 of the most dangerous criminals in the UK. It has a unit known as the Close Supervision Centre, which is referred to as a prison inside a prison. It has a special unit for prisoners with dangerous and severe personality disorders. Her Majesty's Prison Wakefield, England, United Kingdom. High security prison with a close supervision centre. Her Majesty's Prison Woodhill, Milton Keynes, England, United Kingdom. High security prison with a specialist close supervision centre. Africa Max, for violent and disruptive prisoners. Asia Gyeongbuk Northern, the second correctional center, Cheongsong, Gyeongsangbuk-do, South Korea. KEMTA Taiping, Perak, Malaysia. Al-Haya Prison, Bilibid Prison, large maximum security prison with around 17,000–20,000 convicted prisoners. White Swan, Russian maximum security prison for convicts sentenced to life imprisonment. Al-Muwaqqatu Correctional and Rehabilitation Center is a super maximum security prison with 240 cells in Jordan. See also correction centers in Jordan. It is designed to hold incorrigibly violent inmates in separate isolation cells. Khao Bin Central Prison, Ratchaburi, Thailand. Supermax facility being opened in the first half of 2014. Australia Goulburn Correctional Centre, full Supermax prison. Highest level of security in Australia, 75-bed centre. Kaswariana Prison, special handling unit. Risdon Prison 8-cell Tamer Unit. Barwon Prison, Barwon Supermax. Port Phillip Prison, Charlotte Unit. Brisbane Correctional Centre 18-cell Maximum Security Unit. Alexander McConaughey Centre 12-cell Supermax Section. Utala Labour Prison, G Division. Alice Springs Correctional Centre 12-cell Supermax Unit. Popular Media, Maximum Insecurity, an Amazon bestseller, gives an inside look at the medical system at the Colorado State Penitentiary. In the Season 2 finale of Arrow, Oliver places Slade Wilson in a Supermax facility designed by A.R.G. U.S. The movie, Escape Plan, starring Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jim Caviezel, is based on a ocean-based Supermax facility.